It's amazing how many things a hotel F&B has to be. This never happens in hotels. It happened 3 days ago. What are you on about?
Happens
Crazy.
to me.
What was I doing for 15 years? Running around like a complete fool.
I got a wedding and an event and a VIP and butler service and the meadow. It's like, it's all right, it's easy. We got the bits to there. Yeah, it just takes a little bit of coordination, a little bit more effort, a little bit more thinking. That's fine. People can deal with that. It's all the other stuff which makes it almost impossible to do. Don't negotiate on the non-negotiables.
This is Hospitality Huddles, bringing you the best conversations in hotel food and beverage.
Manage, lead, coach, repeat.
Every time I think of hospitality, I think of friendship. Hospitality allows you to be you.
Welcome to another episode of Hospitality Huddles, Auden bite-sized Bal. We're still here in Vobos Studios. We're doing a series of bite-sized episodes. It's pretty snazzy in here, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, I feel special. I feel like it's a proper studio, fully kitted out.
Yeah.
The team are amazing. And out there, the lobby.
It's nice, right?
It's very nice. The view, I'll put it on Insta later.
100%.
Yeah, it's great.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So if you need any internet in your commercial business, this isn't an ad. I just want to plug them because it's such a nice place.
Brilliant.
Get your internet from Vobos. They're really good.
Yeah, superb.
I don't know what their internet's like.
Oh, like here.
But the podcast studio is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, like here, everything's easy. The cafe's easy. The greeting was on time. Ace come and helped us. QR code works straight away for the Wi-Fi. No messing around because all that stuff does your head in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but nah, they made it super easy and the setup's brilliant.
There we go. So, today's episode, we were having lunch in Josephine's by Claude Bossy in Marylebones, and we were just having general chat. And you said to me, and I'm going to, word for word, I wrote it down.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many things a hotel F&B has to be. Now, first of all, tell people a little bit about your background, very quickly.
Yep.
And then talk me through why you said what you said, and then we'll talk from there about the details.
All right, my background, QSR. So life started Mahey's, did it for about 10 years, and it's always been in that arena. You know, with a Subway franchisee for a little bit, the Shake Shack by Chloe. So it's always been about quick process, and it has to be duplicatable. So skill levels, we haven't got sous or head chefs or anything like that. And the offer is the offer. You may do LTOs, you may have like a seasonal kind of offer, a drink or a burger or a cake or a cookie or something like that. But that's it. You know, nothing fancy. I call it fancy because I'll tell you why I say. And then we were talking about, you and Michelle, we were talking about your backgrounds in hotels, and you mentioned Carrick Park and the stuff you had to do in Carrick Park, and my jaw was just dropping. I was like, what, a meal for two in the middle of a meadow? And it just to please the guests. And I love the effort you would go to in that arena, in that hotel world, especially high-end luxury, to please a guest. It's phenomenal. But at the same time, you got a wedding of 500 and a conference and an event, and then you got a full restaurant, and then people have got to come and do breakfast in the morning, and then, you know, there's leisure, there's a spa. You're like a little city. And I was going, why? It's so hard. It's so hard for, are you making money on some of them? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know if you're going to be making money in the middle of a meadow for a table for two. The chef's going to be going crazy, right? So that's where that statement came from. I was going, what is it with these hotel pods trying to do all of these things and the strain and the effort it takes? And I think it's competition for space, competition for that extra little bit of market share, prominence online, prominence as far as reputation goes. I think it's that. But sometimes you got to go, oh, come on, you know, effort versus output and outcome, sorry. What's going on here?
But I think, do you know what, that leads it to a really interesting question, doesn't it? In terms of, You're absolutely right what you're saying about, does that table of two in the meadow make money? All right, maybe you're able to charge an extra 20-30% because it's in a meadow, you get your own waiter and all the rest of it. But when people talk about hotel F&B, we look at the restaurant, we look at the bar, people might have lounges and spaces. But it's also used as a function for a bigger picture, right? Mm-hmm. So Mr. High Net Worth comes to stay at a resort hotel and he doesn't want to go sit in the restaurant because he might want to propose to his wife, to his girlfriend, he might want to celebrate an anniversary, he might just want to sit on his own in the middle of a field and have dinner with his favourite person. But to him, he isn't bothered that 500 people are in a function, or the restaurant's doing 60 covers, or blah, 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 blah. It's all about him. And I think this is back to this bigger picture, isn't it, of F&B isn't just about a restaurant and a bar. It's about everything else that goes with it, and the function of being able to make a guest's overall experience in one place as special as it can be. And I think that's where, when we're designing F&B and we're looking at restaurants and bars, it can't just be in a silo of we're running a restaurant and we're running a bar. Yeah. Right? And I'm one that says the independent restaurateurs think a different way. They do think a different way, 100%. I've been there, 15 years hotels, 7 years restaurants. Like, independent restaurateurs think a different way because they only have to think about the restaurant and it might have a bar. That's all they have to think about, right? An F&B guy has to think about everything else going on. The guy who wants his meal in the middle of a field and how the hell does he get stuff to it? The marquee that's going on for 50 covers. I've been there. This is my pain, right? The VIP guest in a suite that you have to do butler service for. The room service that's not in the hotel. It's on a separate block. The spa, the horse, the equestrians, the polo fields. They have to think about all of these things. And I guess it's how, as an F&B leader, you can stay as strategic as possible or get the people around you to help. And I think if I look at some of the things that projects we're working on, it's not about the concepts we're developing. It's not about the process that we're putting in place. It's how we keep up the energy of those restaurants that are going to be under so much pressure because of investment and expectation when all the other shit is going on around it that takes focus away from those bits that we're building. And I think what struck me about what you said in terms of that is when you strip that back into a mindset of someone who hasn't worked in hotels and you're like, what are you guys doing? Yeah. It's a really interesting, it like almost stood me back in my ground to go, yeah, you're right. What was I doing for 15 years running around like a complete fool? Like, it might have just been easier to fill the restaurants. But it doesn't work that way, does it?
No, not
and that's
at all.
The interesting thing. And that's, I guess, the responsibility that we have when we're building concepts, that can deliver even when they don't have the focus, because the focus is on a table of two in a wildflower meadow 200 yards from the kitchen.
I couldn't agree more. Although, I was like, what are you guys doing? What are you up to? I understand how many things it has to be a hotel, especially high end. But when we're doing a concept or developing an F&B restaurant, bar, whatever it may be, yes, we want to make it look beautiful. It has to look on trend. There has to be a story. All of that sort of stuff's fine. But we need to make it easy to operate. We have to make it easy to operate. So like the space, the till can't be in the wrong end of the bar because it's just a pain to do. If we are going to do outside events, just let's build it in now, make sure there's adequate power, plenty of points, and it's not going to trip out in the middle of a wedding. I don't want to bore you with all that kind of details, but we need to make it easy to operate for the team because then it doesn't become, oh damn, I got a wedding and an event and a VIP and butler service and the meadow. It's like, it's all right, it's easy. We've got the bits today. It just takes a little bit of coordination, a little bit more effort, a little bit more thinking. That's fine. People can deal with that. It's all the other stuff which makes it almost impossible to do. You know, that I think is important when we're looking at it, and kind of that's where I think our two worlds collide.
Yeah.
And it works. It's always been at the forefront of what we're doing when we're designing restaurants.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I've never thought about it before, to be honest, and maybe because I take it for granted, but I think we're about to start a project now in a 5-star hotel in London, flagship property. We're gonna reimagine the lobby lounge space, and this space already has so many different things that happen in it. I honestly think some of the things we need to do is sit down with the team and say, tell us some of the most simplest things that you're asked for, from a bottle of water, room temperature, no ice, with a lemon, to the most wackiest things that you're asked for.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us about all the crazy things you would put in a book if someone came to you and said, can you write a book on what happens in this place? What was it called? Hotel... I can't remember what the name of it. They made a TV show out of it, didn't they? Can you remember? Hotel... something. Anyway,
it'll come back to us.
But that was a show basically built on someone who wrote a book about hotels, hid who it was about, hid the names and all the rest of it, wrote it. And it became a series that everyone thought wasn't true. I was watching this series and I was like,
it's so
Hotel
true.
Babylon.
And there you go.
Boom. Go back and watch Hotel Babylon. Honestly. If you've ever worked in hotels, find Hotel Babylon. It must be on YouTube. Watch it, because everyone's there going, that never happens in... I remember watching it was when I was young with my mum. This never happens in hotels. It happened 3 days ago. What are you on about?
Happens
Crazy.
to me.
And I think that's the bit now is, what's the most craziest things that go on? What are the most craziest things that happen? How many different types of guests are you asked for? What type of different bits in the day? How does it work through the day? What are the crazy things at night to the crazy things in the day? And I think we have to understand that, because if we're creating 2 restaurants in a resort and one of those restaurants has to make something that's going to transport to a wildflower meadow, we need to make sure we can deliver, right?
100%.
And I think that's the bit that was maybe a bit of a reality check for me as someone who's worked in hotels, to be like, yeah, it is. It's amazing how many things we have to be. So we need to be able to build for that. I think it's super important.
You know, the Hotel Babylon analogy you just gave now, I'm saying we should get the team, especially for this big project, get the team and say, tell me all the crazy things you asked for from guests, and then tell me all the crazy things you have to do to deliver that thing. You know, are you turning a table from a cafe terrace setup to it being a little bit more elevated, maybe with a tablecloth and a candle like we're doing currently in Noreen? And there's no space. Do you have to travel 5 corridors to go and get a tablecloth to then come back and then have nowhere to put it? And then there's no plug for the iron to iron the tablecloth because you don't want it to look crap. These sort of things are so important because they will help them deliver what that venue is. Ultra 5-star luxury, flagship, the delivery of it, and guests sitting down eating their lovely meal in the beautiful cutlery and OS&E. You know, the bits in between is how it goes.
You can't be like swans, basically.
100%.
Which is what a lot of my 5-star career felt like sometimes. It was like,
that's a knackered swan.
You were in the back. You're in the back, pedaling underwater as fast as you could, and the minute you went through that flip door, you were like, nothing has ever gone on behind you. And I think that's the bit, isn't it? Of you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think it's making sure when we look at it, where are the pantries? Do the pantries have everything that we need? What do you need in the venue? And not outside the venue. So if you are going to change tablecloths, they need to be in stations, and the station needs to be built properly.
Correct.
And I think these are some of the bits that, taking yourself back to that, how many things do you have to deliver? You know, if that space suddenly on a night time is going to be sold by the events team for a drinks reception, you need to be able to deliver a drinks reception for 20, 30 people seamlessly. That doesn't have people running all over the place, that makes other guests feel uncomfortable. And I think it really, it was a good lesson for me to hear it after so long.
Yeah.
Of someone looking and going, like, hotel F&B has to be a lot. Because sometimes we do all focus on the restaurant, bar and lounge in its primary function. But we need to think about all the other crazy shit that does happen in hotels.
It needs all dumping in and go, like, okay, sometimes it's this, mostly it's this. And for all of them things, it needs X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
A good example was the conference we went to in Budapest. They were flipping that space from conference to lunch, then back for guests, and then back for evening reception drinks, to then a entertainment set. And that is just through that one evening or through that one day. Good example, actually, because they executed it pretty well.
No, they did. They executed it really well, and I think that's. I think that's. It's a great example, and you know, any hotel who's listening to this who has conferences or is a resort and that type of thing. You know, maybe you have swimming pools with cabanas and beds and private spaces and things like that. I think it's super important to take it all into account and create spaces that work for everything that's asked of that function. But it's got to look like what it should look like, and then it's got to be able to adapt and it's got to be able to change. So I think, do you know what, this was a really good one for me, and I think, you know, ever since we sat there and talked about it and we knew we were filming, I've been thinking this is going to be a good one, because I think it's important. So if you're listening to this, you're watching this on YouTube, and you're in hotels and you go through the mill every single day and you have the opportunity to do a refurb or a renovation, ask yourself the question, how many things do we have to be? Write them down, speak to your team, ask them the most craziest things you're asked for, the most simple things you're asked for, look at how many times it's used for different things, and then look at how you can make that concept and space adaptable for all of those things, so that you can deliver the best experience to everybody who walks through the door. Because, in your words, it is amazing how many things a hotel F&B has to be.
Yeah, it does. Don't negotiate on the non-negotiables. Yeah. Just don't bother. Don't go, I can do with one less plug. Don't bother. But yes, great. I love this one.
Yeah. So that's it. Beautiful Vorbos offices with this studio. Once again, a nice plug. It's amazing how many things hotels have to be. There you go. Mahey 2025. Copyright. See you next time. You've been listening to Hospitality Huddles, brought to you by Auden Hospitality. If you want to revisit clips from this or previous episodes, make sure you visit our YouTube channel at Auden Hospitality. Thank you for listening to the show. See you next time.